This is Arsenal, one of the biggest clubs in England. But right now, they're a laughingstock. As last Wednesday they were knocked out of the UCL by PSG, and because Liverpool have now won the league, Arteta goes 5 years in a row without major silverware. So guys, no more playing second fiddle, no more phases, and no more trusting the process. It's time that a real manager stepped in. And that's exactly what I'm doing, as I'm taking Arteta's place in charge of the Gunners. And we aren't messing around, because Arsenal are already a phenomenal team, so we're going all guns a-blazing for the Premier League, and of course for their first ever Champions League trophy. And there I am, officially being revealed as Arsenal's new manager, and it's safe to say I'm happy with the team we've got. Because regardless of what this team did or didn't accomplish last year, it is still a world-class outfit. With centre-backs Gabriel, William Saliba, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, who to be fair actually has been off the boil in real life. But one player that hasn't been off the boil is indeed Bukayo Saka. And if we are to be successful with Arsenal, we've got to try and make sure he stays here at all costs. But there's one thing guys that I'm absolutely loving going into this as Arsenal's new manager, and it's the fact that hardly any of our best players are in their 30s. Which means if you think they're good now, wait till we're 3 to 4 years deep with them. Now our first training session with the Gunners is done and dusted, and now it's time to have a chat with the boss to see what he wants from this season. Welcome to Arsenal, Goodwin. We hope that you can finish what Arteta started and take us to the promised land. I believe we can do it, boss. The team's already ridiculous. We just need a striker and some solid depth, and I believe we stand a great chance of getting major silverware. Well, I'm glad you know what you want already. The only issue is we can only give you 150 million. I know you want to sign at least 3 to 4 players by the sound of it, but you have to make a choice between signing a world-class striker or improving our depth. And trust me, you need to make the right choice, because this year we're expecting at the very least the FA Cup in either the Prem or the UCL. Well, that's great, no pressure straight away. True to his word though, we've got exactly 150 million to spend. And like the boss said, we have to make a choice here. We either use that money to bring in a world-class striker for Havertz, or we focus that money on improving our depth with some real quality. But for me guys, there's one obvious choice. With Trossard and Saka up top, we might do well scoring goals, but as proven in real life, because Arsenal don't have a world-class proven striker, it's costing them dearly. Now in regards to that striker role, in real life they're linked to 4 really goddamn good strikers, one of which is Ollie Watkins from Aston Villa. The other one is Newcastle United's Alexander Isak, and one of the others is Benjamin Sesko. And whilst they are linked to these 3, there's one other striker they are linked to the most. And as you can see, I am not lying, it is indeed Victor Gyökeres. And it's hard to blame them, he's absolutely rapid, he's a fantastic finisher, insane physicality, good dribbler too. And obviously in real life, we don't know if this deal's going to happen, but Arteta is no longer in charge of Arsenal. I am, so I'm making it happen by spending a whopping 110 million to sign him, which is fantastic because we finally got Arsenal a world-class striker. But there is the bad news now, because that only leaves 33.6 million in our budget, and that's hardly going to bring us any real quality depth, is it? Having thought about it though, there is one other solution. We can have a look at our academy, and as you can see, there's some decent candidates to promote. There's Lucas Fowler, decent potential, already looks like a solid player for 18 years old. There's Rene Hubert, there is Artur Kazmarek, they've got Jacob Watson too. They may not be amazing yet, but Arsenal have a knack of promoting their youth academy players, so I feel like we've got to carry that process on and promote these 4 too. And just like that guys, we've actually got a decent amount of depth in the team. But now it's time to take Arteta's tactics away from it and put my spin on it now. And so as you can see, we're rocking the 4-3-3 attack with our 2 wing backs up and down the pitch, 2 box-to-box midfielders, a playmaker and 2 inside forwards, helping Gyökeres up top. And in my opinion, this is exactly how we should be lined up, guys. I know that you lot will have some questions, but let me answer them for you. I know, for example, we've got better fullbacks overall than Louis Skelly, but we've all seen what this kid can do. He is mustard. Marino's obviously a questionable choice, putting him in the midfield alongside Rice, but because it's a box-to-box role, and with his stats being so well balanced, I feel like he can do the job. And then there's, of course, Ben White playing in the right-back role, who's clearly a better centre-back. I want to see what he can do in that full-back role. If he is poor in that position, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Regardless though, the team has been selected, and these lot have a massive year in front of them. And around the corner was their first test of the season and my first test in charge of Arsenal as we faced off against a very impressive Bournemouth side. A team that last year was a real dark horse, so we cannot take them for granted. And it was almost the perfect start as Gyökeres's attempt rattled the bar. And then Odegaard's long distance effort was saved by Bournemouth's keeper. But then our breakthrough finally came as Gyökeres took advantage of some poor defending and put us 1-0 up. Then literally straight away they got one back. Then going into the second half they took a 2-1 advantage. I truly don't know what's just happened. We did however start the second half strong with a gorgeous attempt here from Odegaard. No matter what we did though, in the end it didn't matter as Bournemouth got the third and the first 3 points of the season, which was the exact opposite of the start we wanted. However, the Premier League is not a 100-meter sprint, it's a goddamn marathon. Ideally though, we really needed to bounce back in our next game against Everton. And guys, that's exactly what we did. And Saka helped us do this with not just 1 goal in the first half, not just 2 goals in the first half, but a hat-trick of goals in the first half. And finally, Odegaard put the finishing touches on the win in the second half. And we felt like we weathered the storm, we brushed off the rain and we were moving forward, but unfortunately we were moving into a goddamn tsunami next. Because we were about to face the blue side of Manchester in Manchester City. And as you can imagine, going into this game, our number one priority was closing Haaland down. And we did until the 30th minute where Haaland very nearly got through here. Turns out we should have focused on the entire front three as 10 minutes later, Echeverri put Man City 1-0 up. In the second half though, we started strong as Gyökeres very nearly put us 1 apiece here. However, with 20 minutes to go, Raya kept us in the game with an insane double save here. I did then decide to make a couple of changes to see if in the last 10 minutes we could nick a point. Despite our best efforts though, Man City were just too good for us and we dropped another 3 points. And this really wasn't the best of starts for us, especially with what we had around the corner. As next up, we had our first Champions League game against Bayer Leverkusen. And to put it bluntly, this was a must-win game. And early on, we very nearly took the lead if not for a cracking save from Hiradeki here. But then Leverkusen went straight up the other end and got one themselves. Honestly, this was bloody awful. And what made it worse, our world-class striker we brought in to improve Arsenal just couldn't score at the minute. Thankfully though, I was dead wrong about that. Because blink and you'll miss it, Gyökeres banged one in straight after missing. And just before half-time, he very nearly put us in the lead. But this was good because we now had the momentum. Apparently, I was wrong though, as 5 minutes into the second half, Leverkusen took the lead again. Seriously, what is wrong with Arsenal? Thankfully though, with 15 minutes to go, Declan Rice got us a second. But that's how the game ended, a 2-2 draw and a very disappointing result. I know I said that this is a marathon, but at some point we've got to pick up the speed. And thankfully, that's exactly what we began to do after an impressive 3-1 win over Aston Villa. We then got a very narrow 2-1 win over Forest. However, we did lose to Monaco 3-2 in the Champions League. The boys need some confidence, guys, and you can give it to them by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. And this leaves us 23rd in the Champions League phase after 6 games, but we are killing it in the Prem as we're second after 19 games. But in our last 2 UCL League phase games, we have to win them. And we do have 48.5 million to spend. The problem is though, I'm not sure on where I'm putting it. Because as far as I'm concerned, this team is phenomenal in every position. We've got fantastic squad depth as you can see. They just need a little bit more time to come together with these new tactics, but I don't want to make the same mistake Arteta did last year and not spend in January. So with that being said, maybe we should think about replacing Ben White for that right back role. Because whilst he is a fantastic defender, he's definitely more suited to being a centre back than a full back. So with that being said, I've just signed Martin Fernandes from Barcelona for 22 million. As you can see, he's pace, he's got good passing, good dribbling, just needs his defending and physicality working on. But with him being so young, I don't think it'll take too long for that to improve. As for Ben White though, we are converting him to a centre back. We're going ahead with it and he's going to turn into an 86 rated player. See, I told you, he's definitely a better centre back than a full back. And not only does that give us better defensive quality and depth, but now we have a back four where everybody's in their natural position. I'm not saying this is going to be a game changer, but surely this should help us going forward. Well, we were about to find out as our next game was against Inter Milan in the Champions League, a must-win game. But it was a bad start as Inter Milan got unbelievably lucky in getting a 1-goal lead here. I mean, seriously, that's just BS. We did, however, get lucky as this was classed as a handball, and yep, of course, Martin Odegaard buried it. Then with 10 minutes to go in the first half, Gyökeres smashed this top left bins. Then with 20 minutes to go, Martinez equaled the scoreline. Then with 5 minutes to go, it got even worse as Inter Milan won the game with this goal, which now means to even stand a chance of qualifying for the playoffs, we have to beat our final league phase opponent, Valencia. And this time, it was a good start as 13 minutes in, Gyökeres put us 1-0 up. Then 5 minutes later, he put us 2-0 up. And then in the second half, he got his hat-trick to give us all 3 points. But the question is, guys, had we done enough, or was it too little, too late? We thankfully had done enough. We are 18th in the league phase, which means we're through to the playoffs. God, we never do it the easy way, do we? We are also now top of the Premier League after 24 games as well. So as daft as this sounds, we may win the Premier League, the Champions League and FA Cup all in one season. In order to win the UCL though, we first had to get past Leipzig in the playoffs. And after Odegaard scored this gorgeous free kick after only 4 minutes, it's safe to say we got off to a good start. We then went 2-0 up after 27 minutes after Gyökeres very kindly gave the ball to Trossard here. Honestly though, I still don't know why I did that. We then went 3-0 up before half-time courtesy of Marino. Guys, I don't know what's got into Arsenal lately, but it finally looks like the new tactics have clicked. And the proof was in the pudding as we battered Leipzig 4-0 in the first leg. And unless we somehow forgot how to play football in the second leg, we're through to the round of 16. Whilst the UCL was going our way though, we couldn't afford to neglect the Premier League. And unfortunately, we did take our foot off the gas as we dropped 2 points to Fulham. We then lost against Brentford 2-0. We did, however, thankfully beat Luton Town 3-1. However, dropping those points to Fulham and Brentford really hurt our Premier League title race, because we're now 4th after 28 games, 7 points behind Manchester City. We could still win the title, but the likelihood of City dropping points at this point is really unlikely. We, however, couldn't afford to dwell on it as we now faced Inter Milan in the round of 16 in the second leg where we are 2 apiece. This time though, we got the exact start we needed as Saka put us 1-0 up, and it somehow stayed that way after this fantastic save from Raya. Up the other end, we almost made it 2-0, but someone made a great save here as well. We might be in the lead, but it was still neck and neck. And it was a stalemate in the second half up until the 87th minute where Inter Milan got the equaliser. We couldn't have just held on for another 3 minutes, could we? We went to extra time and almost conceded if it wasn't for Raya here. But then up the other end, Martinelli burst through Inter Milan's defence and put us 2-1 ahead. And thankfully that goal was all that was needed to book our place in the next round. Which is fantastic, ladies and gents, but now we've got to focus on another competition, and it's not the Premier League or FA Cup. Because Carabao Cup draws favoured us, which has led us to the final where all we got to do to win this competition is now beat Chelsea. Unfortunately though, we didn't strike the first blow as Chelsea took the lead inside half an hour. We very nearly got back in it afterwards, but Sanchez made a great save here. And then with 20 minutes left, they got the second. Guys, this isn't looking good. So I decided to switch things up to see if it'd make a difference. And within 3 minutes it did as Bukayo Saka got one back. But guys, it was to no avail. Chelsea hung on long enough in the end to secure the win and the Carabao Cup. Which is gutting because I really wanted to win the Carabao Cup for Arsenal, and because we didn't, the pressure was now beginning to pile on. As we now face off against Premier League leaders right now, Manchester City. And this is a game that if we win, we are right back in the title race, but if we lose, we are out of it completely. And it was a complete stalemate until the 40th minute where we got the lead. And then just 2 minutes later, we doubled it with this gorgeous strike from Saka. But we were going into the second half 2-1 up as City just shy of half time got one back. We might be in the lead, but it's still all to play for. But we couldn't have asked for a better start in the second half as Ake brought Gyökeres down into the penalty area, and Martin Odegaard through this made it 3-1. Shortly after, Raya kept it 3-1 too with a fantastic save. But then Gabriel handballed it in the penalty area, and Haaland buried it. So with 90 minutes to go, we were 3-2 up. Gabriel almost made up for the penalty with this gorgeous bicycle kick. Unfortunately though, it was offside. In the end though, it didn't matter as Trossard got us our 4th goal of the game and the full 3 points against Manchester City. Which heading into the final stretch of the Premier League season means we are only 4 points behind them. And we are well and truly back in it. We couldn't take our foot off the gas though, as next up in the Champions League we were playing Liverpool. And whilst we were 2-1 up against them, it was still all to play for really. Early on though, Raya was called upon to make this fantastic save. Up the other end, Alisson made a quality save as well to keep Liverpool in this tie. And he did the same again just 10 minutes later. There was no way this game was going to end goalless. A breakthrough was bound to happen, and it came in the 65th minute. Courtesy of Victor Gyökeres, who scored from a corner to put us 3-1 up on aggregate. And then with 50 minutes to go, he sealed the deal, putting us 2-0 up on the night, 4-1 up on aggregate. We were through to the next round, which everyone was over the moon with. But now it's time to turn our attention back to the Premier League. And it's safe to say we weren't taking our eyes off the ball as we beat Sheffield United 3-1. And then we absolutely smashed Leeds United. And that now puts us within 2 points of City with 5 games to go. So from here till the end of the season, if we don't muck up in the Prem, there's a chance we could win it. Just like there's a chance we can still win the FA Cup. We've first got to beat Man City though to get to the final. And guys, it was a complete stalemate. A pure midfield battle with 0 chances created until the 70th minute. And that is where Manchester City finally broke through and broke the deadlock. And then they did it once again just 7 minutes later. And guys, that was all she wrote. The game ended 2-0. Manchester City had knocked us out of the FA Cup. And that was the second time this year we've come damn close to winning a trophy, but just missed out on it. And it really shook the lads' confidence up as we're 3-2 down in the second leg against Dortmund in the semis. We risked going out of another competition in the later stages. We can't do that again. But it was the absolute worst start imaginable as Dortmund made it 4-2 on aggregate within 5 minutes. Thankfully though, inside half an hour, we did get one back. But I've just realised we're down to 10 men. When the hell did that happen? It's Jury and Timber as well. Oh my god, this can't be happening, lads. Dortmund having that extra man though really showed us 10 minutes before half time they dinked the keeper. And we almost got back in it straight away, but Gyökeres rattled the bar. That could have been a game changer. And it really would have been, as Dortmund made it 3-1 on the night, 6-2 on aggregate. They'd knocked us out of the Champions League. There's only one thing worse than crashing out of 2 competitions in the later stages, and that's doing it in 3 competitions. We only have the Premier League to compete for right now, and as you can see from the table, there's a serious chance we could actually do it. But standing in our way is Aston Villa away from home, Chelsea at home, Man United at home, and Liverpool at Anfield. And to stand a chance of winning the title, we need 4 wins from 4, nothing less. Thankfully though, we got our needed first win of 4 straight away as we battered Aston Villa. And that was all well and good, but now we had to take on Chelsea. And they made it clear early on they weren't making it easy as they went 1-0 up inside of 7 minutes. Then just shy of half time, they took a 2-goal lead. And then early in the second half, they took a 3-goal lead. Oh my god, this can't be happening, lads, honestly. After dropping 3 points to Chelsea, we now move on to Man United, which is an absolute must-win game now. But again, we were crumbling under the pressure as Højlund put United 1-0 up. Then straight after, they went 2-0 up. Oh my god, they are worse than Spurs for bottling stuff at this point. And to make matters worse, we were 3-0 down inside of half an hour. Guys, it was over. Arsenal, yet again, are the second best team in the Premier League, 5 points behind Manchester City. Honestly, at this point, they deserve it, man. How they bottled it that easily is insane. This team on paper, ladies and gents, is absolutely fantastic, but when it comes down to it, they just don't know how to get the job done. Stats-wise, though, it's absolutely amazing. Gyökeres, 53 and 9 for him, 27 and 20 for Saka, 17 and 15 for Odegaard. If it wasn't for those 3, we wouldn't have come anywhere near close to doing as well as we have done this year. But when you think about it, when this team's won absolutely nothing, we haven't done well at all, guys. In fact, I consider this season a failure. And considering the boss at the start of the season made it very clear what he wanted, I'll be very damn lucky to keep this job going into season 2. And here we are in year 2 with Arsenal, and it's the moment of truth whether or not my future is here at this club or elsewhere. You told me all you needed was a striker and some solid depth, so what's your excuse for not winning anything? There is no excuse, boss. We should have at the very least won 1 trophy last year. The team just didn't have that killer instinct to get the job done, but if you allow me to stay for this year, I can bring in that killer instinct and get the job done for you. Well, you signed a 2-year deal anyway, so you may as well just stay here for this year, hadn't you? But make no mistake, we want success success now, and considering how close you were to the Premier League and Champions League last season, we want you to focus on those trophies and bring them home to North London. Well guys, he's told me what he wants, so now it's time to make it happen. And we've got 190 to spend this year too. Now I made it clear to the boss that in this team there's just no killer instinct. So now it's my job with that 190 million to bring it into the club. And I think to do this we need to replace Luis Skelly and Fernandes at the back. Because it's clear from the later stages of the season our front three aren't the problem, it's our bloody defence leaking goals for fun. So trust me, we're no longer messing around with the Gunners, as I've just spent 65.5 million on RB Leipzig fullback Miguel Gutierrez. And for the experience we sorely need at the club, I signed Denzel Dumfries from Inter Milan for 27 million. Now you might be asking, what about that left winger role, because Trossard wasn't exactly electric, was he? Well, I think giving Martinelli a shot is the way to go. He's 25, he's rapid, got good shooting and dribbling, and if he doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world, because we'll have 85.3 million to spend in January, and that for me could all go on a winger if it doesn't work out. It really is crunch time though for this Arsenal side. They're clearly good enough to win silverware. I'm just hoping with the players we brought in this time we can finally make it happen. And we have a fantastic test here to see if we can, as we face Man City in the Community Shield final. It's not a trophy that the boss wants, granted, but I'm definitely not saying no to a trophy if we can win it. And when the game started, we were clearly the stronger team. In fact, how we did not score this, I'll never know. I know I say that a lot, but still. But once again, we'll regret not putting that chance away, as 25 minutes in, City took the lead. Then 6 minutes before half time, they went 2-0 up. Thankfully though, we started the second half strong, as Gyökeres got one back for us. Then 10 minutes later, with some gorgeous footwork from Martinelli, we were all square again. Raya was then called upon to make not one save but 2 saves in the span of 5 seconds. Then with just 10 minutes to go, Gyökeres somehow managed to squeeze this in. And guys, we done it. We completed the 3-2 comeback to win the Community Shield. And it's not the fact that we won the Community Shield that makes me happy, it's the fact that we came back from 2-0 down to 3-2 to beat Manchester City. If we can beat them, we can beat anybody. Admittedly though, it wasn't the start to the campaign we were after, as in our first game of the season, Brighton got a point from us. We then, however, bounced back straight after by smashing the Hammers. And then frankly, we got embarrassed by the Tractor Boys. That's 2 years in a row we've had a slow start despite us beating Man City. What is wrong with Arsenal? Well, one thing's for certain, we've got to figure it out, and figure it out fast, as we're now playing Barcelona in our first game in the Champions League. And if we ain't on the top of our game, they'll annihilate us. And guys, after 27 minutes, we went 1-0 down because Gabriel decided to do some yoga in the middle of a football game. Seriously, what was that ball prick playing at? Then very shortly after, guys, Lewandowski dinked Raya. And then because of absolutely shocking defending, they took a 3-goal lead to win the game before half time. I'm beginning to think Arsenal are more cursed than Spurs at this point. This simply can't go on with this Arsenal side. Something needs to change, and it needs to change now. So from now on, this is exactly how we're going to play the 4-2-3-1 wide, with our attack insanely high up the pitch. We've got our 2 holding midfielders sitting behind the playmakers, our wing backs are getting up as well, and we'll be using the counter-attacking build-up style with a really deep line. And guys, if this doesn't work, nothing will. And who better to test these new tactics against than our North London rivals, Tottenham bloody Hotspur. And guys, the tactics seemed to work straight away, as within 3 minutes we went 1-0 up. And things got even better, as Pedro Porro got sent off for this challenge on Martinelli, and then Martin Odegaard went and buried the free kick. Then just shy of the hour mark, Martinelli got a goal to kill the game dead. And this may well be the turning point, guys. If we can dismantle Spurs like that, we can pretty much dismantle anyone. And guys, it really looked like we turned the corner, as we beat Villarreal 1-0 in the UCL. We then went back to the Premier League and beat Brentford 3-1. And we got a 2-1 win in the Champions League against Lille. And guys, these strings of wins puts us in a fantastic position in January, because not only are we smashing it in the Champions League, we are top of the Premier League by 3 points. And when you consider where we were this time last year, we've come so far since then. The thing is, we now have over 100 million to spend on the team, but given just how well these lot are playing this year now, I don't think we need to spend it. I mean, as you can see, stats wise, we are absolutely smashing it. The team's getting older and much better, as you can see too, and the depth we've got on the bench is actually fantastic. fantastic. So I think this time in the January transfer window, we're not going to do a damn thing. It may come back to bite me in the backside not doing anything with this team, but I think with how good the team is as a whole, with the new tactics and how well we're playing with them, this might be the year we pull it off. And by pull it off, I mean winning the Prem in UCL, and we were keeping our eye on the Prem as we got a 2-0 win over Forest. We then convincingly tore apart a very strong Newcastle United side. We even got our revenge on Manchester United from last year. And guys, we weren't just winning, we were battering everybody we faced. Which leaves us second in the Premier League, 1 point behind Man City going into the final stretch of the Premier League campaign. And that is all well and good, but now it's time to turn our attention to Europe, where we are facing Barcelona in the round of 16, the team that earlier this season absolutely dog-walked us. And it's one apiece going into the second leg, guys, and with how we're playing right now, I fancy our chances. Within 16 minutes, Barca had the best chance of the game, and how this did not go in is genuinely insane. But whilst they missed their chances, we took ours as we went 1-0 up inside of 20 minutes. Then early in the second half, we squandered a great chance to double our advantage. But then Barca got a penalty as this was given us a handball, and then Lewandowski buried it. So just like that, we were even Steven again. Thankfully though, with just 10 minutes to go, a gorgeous low-driven ball across the goal found Saka to put us 2-1 up. Now Barcelona did try to get a goal back, but their efforts weren't good enough, and this time we beat them. But now we turn our attention back to the Premier League. And that's where we absolutely tore the Tractor Boys apart. And then we got a solid win over the Hammers, which now leaves us 5 points clear of Manchester City, who do indeed have a game in hand over us. But providing we don't do what we did this time last year, the Premier League is ours. The UCL on the other end is a different story, as to get to the semis, we first have to beat Leverkusen, who were already beating 2-0 on aggregate going into the second leg. But this is the Champions League, anything can happen. Early in the game though, we had the best chance here, as somehow this didn't end up being a goal. And we'd regret not scoring that goal, as Leverkusen went straight up the other end and bagged one themselves. And just before half time, Riot denied them a second. Guys, we might be in the lead, but this is anybody's game. And just like that, I was proven right, as Frimpong early in the second half made it 2-2 on aggregate. Then straight after, they went 3-2 up. Oh my god, Arsenal, what are you doing to me? Thankfully, very shortly after, we made it 3 apiece once again. And then in the 62nd minute, we went 4-2 up again. Bro, what is this game? Then with 15 minutes to go, we made it 3-0 on the night, 5-3 on aggregate. And then Gyökeres smashed in a fourth to send us through to the semis. And that's just proven to me that whilst we are on fire right now, winning games for fun, we are definitely not perfect. However, we were looking good going into the semis, guys, as we were facing Liverpool, and in the second leg we had a 3-2 advantage. And early on we almost extended it, but Saka rattled the post. But once again, our lack of clinical finishing bit us in the backside, as Salah scored this screamer to put us level on aggregate. We however still couldn't score though, as Saka was yet again denied by Alisson, and we'd have conceded early in the second half if it wasn't for Salah's poor finishing. Gyökeres' finishing didn't let us down though, as he put us back in the lead. He then extended that lead just 7 minutes later. And then with 15 minutes to go, Martinelli put the exclamation mark on this game and sent us through to the final. Which is fantastic, but now we have a Premier League to focus on. Because as you can see, with 3 games to go, we are 2 points clear top of the table. But in comparison to last year, our last 3 games are nowhere near as difficult. Because we just have to beat Wolverhampton Wanderers, Chelsea and Crystal Palace. And guys, if we do that, we are officially the best team in England. First up though was Wolves, and we got the dream starters. Inside 10 minutes, Odegaard put us 1-0 up. Then just shy of the half-hour mark, Gyökeres rifled in a goal himself. And then he banged in a third before half-time to give us the 3 points. 1 down, 2 to go. But our next game will prove to be the trickiest of the 3, as there's no way our rivals Chelsea will let us win the Premier League that easily. We, however, did strike first, as Odegaard put us 1-0 up inside of 15 minutes. Then 5 minutes later, Gyökeres got one himself. Chelsea might be our rivals, but they are not on our level. We very nearly got a third here, but Sanchez somehow pulled off this great save. Now, Chelsea did get one back in the 89th minute, but it didn't matter because we'd done enough to get the 3 points. 2 down, 1 to go. And that one is against Crystal Palace. We win this game, we make Arsenal the best team in England since 2004. However, this time, it wasn't a good start. As within only 4 minutes, Crystal Palace took the lead. And it would have been 2-0 inside of 10 minutes if it wasn't for Riot. Okay, we need to wake up. And that's exactly what we did shortly after, as we hit them on the break and got an equaliser. Then just 7 minutes later, the big Swede put us 2-1 ahead. And we had a great chance here to go 3-1 ahead, but somehow we messed it up. The important thing is that we're in the lead at half time, and we now have 45 minutes to either become the best team in England or the biggest bottle jobs the Premier League's ever seen. We applied the pressure early on in the second half and came close here with Martinelli. And thankfully, Raya was on form as he saved our bacon here. Finally though, with 25 minutes to go, we got our third of the game. And guys, we did it. We defeated Crystal Palace 3-1 in our final game of the season to crown Arsenal the Premier League champions. And there it is on the board, guys. 87 points, 2 clear of City. We lost 3 all season. And it's safe to say from this time last year, we are such a better team. Stats-wise, they are genuinely the best I've ever seen. 63-11 for Gyökeres, 23-19 for Martinelli, 20-14 for Saka, 16-20 for Odegaard. I mean, have you seen stats better than these? Gyökeres by a country mile won the Golden Boot for us for 42. Odegaard won the top assisters with Martinelli not too far behind him. And David Raya got the Golden Glove. We've well and truly dominated this year. I can only hope we do that against our Champions League final opponent, Real Madrid. Looking at that team though, it is not going to be easy. There is serious world-class quality up and down the pitch. But I would argue we've got just as much quality, if not more, in our team. Granted, Saliba's suspended, but we've got Ben White. And it all now comes down to this, ladies and gents. We are already the best team in England. Now it's time to solidify ourselves as the best team in the world. We started the game strong and almost took the lead here if Gyökeres decided to use his foot instead of his head. Seriously, what are you doing? Up our end afterwards, Raya was called upon to save our bacon too. And he saved our asses once again in the 25th minute. But then there was a breakthrough. And it was us as Gyökeres put us 1-0 up. And then shortly after we went 2-0 up. And early in the second half, Gyökeres very nearly got his hat-trick. But afterwards we were reminded why every chance we have to score. And that's because just shy of the 60-minute mark, Real Madrid got one back themselves. We didn't learn our lesson because 4 minutes later we had a great chance to take a 3-1 lead. But we didn't mess this up, as with some gorgeous football being played, Saka actually put us 3-1 up. And then he put us 4-1 up with 9 minutes to go. But then something absolutely mental happened. We actually did it with Arsenal. We won the Premier League and now the Champions League with them. And that means my mission is complete with the goodness. If you have enjoyed this video and want to see more content just like it, drop this video a big old thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. And stay tuned because later this week will be the first lower league side I do in this format, and it'll be part 1 of 2. But in the meantime, if you want to watch more content from me, I'd recommend you watch this because this one is a pretty damn good video.